Hello and welcome to my radio podcast for Planetary Homecare Manual. Today I'm going to talk to you about competitive 1X and the way that students can tell a story in only a short amount of time. Competitive 1X is a high school activity recognized by the Minnesota State High School League, or the MSHSL. The events take place in late January into early February. So, what exactly is a 1-act? Well, it is a play that has been condensed into a 35-minute time frame. They have 10 minutes to set up their sets, and then 5 minutes to tear it down once it's over. The set also has to be within a 10 by 10 foot frame, but can be as high as needed.
Wow!
There are also rules stating that you cannot have more than 20 students, including actors, stage crew, lighting board, and soundboard operators on your team, but you can have one director helping. You cannot have real food or make a mess on the stage, and if you break any of these rules listed, you are almost immediately disqualified. There are a lot of rules to this event, but it's all worth it. So you may be wondering, why am I talking about these plays though? Well, I think these are a wonderful way to tell stories, and I also went to state twice for this event, so I really enjoy it. Through this competition, I have watched many shows and learned about so many different events and stories throughout history. These shows can range from Greek mythology to documentary shows about the hanging of an elephant. The shows that I was a part of really made me think about the world around me and who I am. The show that I will be talking about today is a dark comedy called Comeback by Neil Haven. The really interesting part about this show is the fact that almost all of the characters can be played by any gender. Most of the characters have gender-neutral names or no names at all. Alright, so the plot of the story is as follows. Sky and Aaron are really good friends. And when Aaron is in a terrible hang gliding accident, they are forced to live the rest of their days in a wheelchair. But that never stopped them from taking care of others who were injured, specifically birds. This is where my character comes in, Bruce. He is an aged African gray parrot who does not stop talking. I encourage you to watch Einstein the African Gray Parrot if you really want a good video of a African gray parrot talking. She is phenomenal. Aaron ends up passing away from a rare form of cancer, and in their will they ask Sky to find a good place to put their ashes and to go on a huge road trip across the lower 48 states in order to find the best place or thing to put the ashes into. So Sky does, and they take Bruce along for the ride. And they go to all these places that do different things with the ashes. Some great notable places that were in the show was a place where they put their ashes in a record so that they can play their favorite song over and over. One of them was they would put their ashes into a bullet so that they could go hunting one more time. You could be compressed into jewelry, baked into a cake and then eaten, compressed into a brick, or put into an Etch-a-Sketch for fun and for kids. And then, at one point, Sky meets up with Aaron's mother named Val. Now, calm down. I know Val is not the nicest person, but she just wants Aaron's ashes to be put into the family plot. But Sky refuses, and insists that Aaron would want Sky to find the best place for them. Sky and Val end up traveling together for a while, and during this time, Val asks Sky some very serious questions about how Aaron died, and Sky ends up having a panic attack, and they spend the rest of the night in a hotel. While Sky's alone, he starts writing a note to Val, saying that she won, she can take Aaron's ashes. But while they're doing this, the urn holding Aaron's ashes gets knocked over. Skye quickly runs out of the room. Bruce chats up a storm, and Skye comes back in with a vacuum cleaner and starts cleaning up all of the ashes off the floor. And since the vacuum didn't have a bag, Skye is forced to take the entire vacuum containing Aaron's ashes with them. After this event, Skye and Val meet up with another one of Skye's friends, Mel, who had a couple scenes earlier but weren't as important to this recording. Mel informs Skye that they have been taking care of the birds at Aaron's place and noticed how a lot of the birds would sit on Aaron's wheelchair. So they put bird feeders on it and moved it into this yard, and the chair got flocked. The three of them end up at a garden center where they meet a person who will put Aaron's ashes into a tree. Skye and Mel think this is a perfect choice for Aaron and would go great with her birds. But Val, of course, does not. Skye and Mel blow up and explain to Val how much Aaron hated Val and the rest of their family and how much they did not know Aaron. Skye finally tells Val the truth about how Aaron died, and it's a little dark. Aaron asked Skye to help them with an assisted suicide after having a huge party, eating all of their favorite foods, and making peace with the world. Val, of course, is not happy. She takes Skye's car and the urn and heads for the family plot. But she leaves Skye with Bruce, the vacuum with Aaron's ashes in it, and their luggage. In the epilogue, Skye reveals that the urn was filled with Bruce's food, so eventually Aaron's grave will start growing sunflowers. Skye also sends a letter to Val, including all of the good memories that Aaron had of them. It wasn't long, but it seemed like enough. Then Skye says that they picked the tree option because it was the perfect fit for Aaron. In our production, we chose birch trees, and they were also a part of our set. So there was always this great audible gasp / cry from the audience when they finally put 2 and 2 together. The show finishes off with a final letter from Aaron talking about life, and it's beautiful. Skye ends the show by saying that if they had a choice during the afterlife, they would want to come back as a tree. Aww. This show and experience helped me learn a lot about theater and myself. The show also ended up being picked out of all of the one-acts in Minnesota to represent the state in the International Thespian Festival in Nebraska. It was a really great honor, and it was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot of theater tips and tricks while I was at this festival. And I also watched a lot of other one-acts from different states and got to learn how they produce theirs and how other states perform, and it was wonderful. Because of this show, I don't have any problems when it comes to talking about death and the process of it. And I'm strongly considering that when I pass, that I want my ashes to be put into a tree, much like Aaron. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And if I were to make another one, I would like to talk about the other one-act that I was a part of called 26 Pebbles by Eric Uloa, which is about the Sandy Hook shooting and the town of Newtown. But that was a very tough show for a lot of people, and I would need some time to prepare. Thank you again, and here's some credits. Credits. The podcaster is Donald Burtonen. The editor is Donald Burtonen. The recording device is my phone. And the show was Come Back by Neil Haven. The intro music was played by me on Barry Sax. Yeah. Thank you again, and have a wonderful day.